Hey, it's James from Better Music, and in front of me I have the F-Note 5X drum kit, which is their current flagship model. Looks beautiful. Let's hear how it sounds. F-Note is essentially the brainchild of former Roland engineers who wanted to start their own company and do their own unique ideas in their drum kits. The 5X currently comes in a stunning matte black finish. Its 6-ply birch shell gives a beautiful grain when it's caught by the light. The aesthetic is very slick and would fit into any modern home beautifully. It's also a very eye-catching looking drum kit. I like the light grey cymbals, and it matches beautifully with the hardware. So what does this kit come with? It comes with a 10x7 tom, 12x12 floor tom, and a 13x13 floor tom, a 12x5 snare drum, a hi-hat which has got the 2 hi-hat pads, 2 crash cymbals, both 16 inches, and an 18-inch ride cymbal with a cute little 8-inch splash, and a 16x12 bass drum with real wood hoops. All the hardware's included, so you have your cymbal stands, your ride cymbal stand, you've got a cute little splash stand with your tom mount, hi-hat stand, bass drum pedal, drum stool, snare stand, floor tom legs, all cool. You got a couple of cool little accessories as well, like a little media holder, a nice little clamp for the sound module, and a couple of little accessories that you can choose to mount in different places. But if you have your own favorite hardware that you like using, you can just use that and it's all modular and compatible with it. Let's check out the toms. So each tom features a dual ply mesh head, which feels pretty nice, just like any standard good quality mesh head. 3 triggers on board, so it eliminates any hot spots, so you can go around the drum and it will trigger wherever you are. Let's investigate the dynamics and the tracking. Cymbals. One thing I really like about these cymbals is they have a 360 area playable zone, and you can even choke all around the cymbal. Other brands, I find that there's definitely a hot spot, but I always seem to make my cymbals spin, and I always lose that nice hot spot. So it gives me the you-know-whats. So these, it doesn't matter which direction they end up firing in, they're going to fire well. Let's show you the playable area. Beautiful. They also have 2 inputs, so they can be made into 3-zone cymbals, where you got the bell, the bow, and the edge. So, very cool. We're currently using the Tom 4 extra trigger for this to make it 3-zone, and you can also unplug this splash cymbal and make this cymbal 3-zone as well. I really love the addition of the 8. I think that's really cool. It just adds a bit of a point of difference. The F-Note cymbals are nice and lightweight, which means that they're not too restricted in their movement. They do have a bit of an interesting texture to them. It looks really nice, and I actually don't think you see that many strikes from your stick on them. I'm sure in many hours to come you might see some appear, but at the moment they're actually going pretty good. It is a bit grippy, so sometimes I like swinging my stick a bit when I'm playing some jazz or something like that, and I do find that it just grips it a bit, so I have to play it a bit more straight. The 14-inch hi-hat uses optical sensors, which is pretty cool. You've got 2 pads, so they have that nice interaction together. It's not unheard of, but it's nice in this price point. You've got a nice foot splash. Responds pretty nicely, but I like feeling that interaction between the 2 plates. It uses an optical connection which allows the cymbal to have plenty of sensors on it, giving you that authentic replication of acoustic drum cymbals. The snare also features the 3 internal triggers, but the thing that makes it unique is it's got its own separate rim click trigger. So if you're doing a ballad, it triggers. I was also hitting the snare with my finger like I do when I play ballads, and it was actually responding, which is pretty cool. Cool. Let's hear how it tracks. The bass drum can be used with a double pedal with no worries. It has plenty of triggers in there to make sure you're tracking your double pedal playing accurately. The sound module features onboard processing such as EQs, reverbs, muffling, tuning. Let's hear what some of them sound like. So on the snare, on the kit called First Note, we're going to check out the Hall Reverb, Hall 2 specifically, with ambience on. So this is with it just as it is, dry from the kit. Let's chuck on the ambience type. So Hall 2. Gives it a nice bit of air. The sound module comes with 17 preloaded kits from Gretsch's, Ludwig's, Yamahas. Are all sampled in here. But if you want to modify and save your own custom kit, you can. There's plenty of user samples in there. I think there's 83 actually, so you can customize your own kit. F-Note's sound module has got to be the most compact on the market that I've seen, but don't let the size fool you. It's very powerful. It does this by putting all the controls into a touch screen. So you've got a nice little touch screen here that you can cycle through kits, go through all the menu settings and start adjusting things. You get one rotary knob as a plus and minus gain stage as well as the on button. It doubles as an on button. You hold it and click it in. Analog outputs, you've got digital outputs, and you also have Bluetooth in and out. So audio in, so you can play along to your songs via, Bluetooth from your phone. And then you've got MIDI Bluetooth out to your computer. Wireless. Super cool. No cables. Get rid of the cables. USB interface to your computer has 8 channels of audio you can send, and you can route the audio however you want to down those 8 channels. It also has a stereo send back into the sound modules from your computer, which means that you can send audio through this so you can sync it all up. The set list function would be useful for a live situation when you're doing a gig and you've got your set list and you've got set tempos that you want to stay to. and you go, cool, I want to use this drum kit and I want it to be at this tempo, and it will save the information there. And as you go through and scroll down the set list, it will automatically change everything to the settings you've already done. When using the metronome, the LED strip on the front of the sound module will light up as well to give you that extra little bit of confidence when you're playing. I'm a fan of electric drum kits that make me feel a bit more at home, like I'm sitting behind my acoustic drum kit. It's much easier to translate those skills that you're practicing at home to when you go to a gig and you might be using your own acoustic drum kit. Having it all spaced out and set up in a very similar way with the kind of correct size cymbals really helps your muscle memory and your ability to set up. So what are some of the pros that I like about this kit? I think it looks great. It's a really nice finish. The kind of warm grey cymbals have a really nice premium look to them. I'm a big fan of not worrying which side the logo has to be on the cymbals. Wherever I hit is going to give me an even sound. That's a big pro for me. Having a small compact module is going to suit a lot of people, I find. You don't want this huge, well, you don't necessarily want this huge sound module, which is so obvious with all these cables plugged into it. This is nice and slick, couple of cable snakes straight down, nice and neat. I think a lot of people will really enjoy seeing this kit, and it's going to inspire them to sit down behind the kit. What are some of the cons? I found when I was playing the rim click and the snare at the same time that it was favoring the rim click rather than giving me both samples. It's something I reckon could be fixed with firmware or a potential little jig here or there, but I want to show you what I was experiencing. Sometimes triggers with it, sometimes it doesn't. For me, it took me out of the moment of the groove. For me, when I was playing the toms, I like hitting the rim and the tom at the same time, and I found that the layers weren't quite matching up. You'd get to the peak of the tom, but when you included the rim click, it almost overpowered the dynamics of the tom. Let me show you. Just doesn't seem to have that bite that when you, on an acoustic drum kit, when you give it that extra rim shot to get that accent, it's not following me. I find the sound module a little bit hard to navigate because it's using a resistive touchscreen. One of the pros to that is you've got sweaty hands or you're using drumming gloves, you can still use it, which is great, but it becomes a little bit more effort to touch it. Sometimes I'll be right over something going, come on, why aren't you going into the menu? So that's something that I would say is a bit of a con for me, especially when I want it to work, or if I'm playing live and I go to hit something and it's not triggering, that would concern me. My final thoughts on this kit is it's a stunning looking kit. It's definitely eye-catching. I think as an alternative to some of the other options on the market, it's worth investigating, especially if you like some of the features that we talked about in the video. I'm excited to see where this company goes because I think there's plenty of room for this to grow, especially with firmware updates and stuff like this. It's pretty exciting. So I'm looking forward to staying tuned to seeing where F-Note takes off. If you've had an opportunity to play an F-Note kit, I'd love to hear it in the comments. What are your thoughts? What was your experience like? Let us know. If you have any questions about the brand or any of the kits, hit us up, give us a call, give us an email. Better music, better music.